do it again sometime. Our idea here tonight is to have our representatives here give a presentation of the costs of the project, the scope of the project, and we want to follow up with questions that the board may have for them. I think we've been through this before, so we're going to ask some questions that you might have had or might answer any concerns you had. After we're done with that, then we'll let you ask questions. As they're talking about the map, you're going to be free to come up there and look at that map as he describes the project. I want to tell you right off the bat, we're not here to shove any sewers down anybody's throats. I mean, the DEP may someday, but we're not here for that. This is an opportunity to move sewers along. We all recognize the problems up there. Years ago, that we did a joint 537 sewer study with Mount Pleasant for your area, for the Mount Pleasant and the Cecil Township area of Southview. And that project is kind of just languished, but they've come up with a new project that's bigger in scope, and they're hoping it can be better for the pricing, but that's what we're here to hear from them. So if you want to at least get started on your ideas,
I want to say one thing before you start.
Sure.
I thought that project was 6 or 7 years ago. It was actually 13 years ago.
Correct.
Time passes real quickly.
My name is Steve Greenberg. I'm with KLH Engineers. We're the consulting engineer for the Mount Pleasant Township.
Can you do me a favor? Can you go to the microphone? Because we can't hear you.
Sure.
You should be able to pull that right away. Because
Yeah, pull it out.
Karaoke?
Yeah.
is it on?
No.
You have to hold it back there for a second.
green light's on.
Okay, my name is Steve Greenberg. I'm with KLH Engineers. We're the consulting engineers for the Mount Pleasant Township Municipal Authority. I have 2 board members with me, Paul Batista and George Yonker, both board members of the authority. We are in the process of implementing the authorities, the township's Act 537 plan, which is to sewer almost the entire township, all the areas of Mount Pleasant Township where the population pockets are. So that includes Hickory, Westland, and Southview. When we sewer Southview, there's a portion of it that's in Cecil Township. Now there is an approved Act 537 plan that was approved 13 years ago. And that approved plan has a wastewater treatment plant being constructed right in the neighborhood. And that's how that will be served. We're trying to amend the plan so that you don't have a wastewater treatment plant in Southview. We want to put a pump station there again, instead of the wastewater treatment plant, and pump the flow over to the plant that's going to be built in Westland. So that's the reason for the amendment to the plan. If we didn't change the plan to put the pump station in instead of the treatment plant, we wouldn't even be here. We would be just moving forward with the plan that was approved 13 years ago. The total project cost is about $19 million.
How much?
$19 million is the total project cost. That's for the amended plan that's being presented. The plan, as it sits without the amendment, is, I believe, about, I want to say it's $16 million for 15.5. The rates will be the same no matter what happens. We project them to be $95 a month, and that is based on the income level in Mount Pleasant Township. The state, through Penvest and the DEP, look at the median income of the township and they determine what the affordable rate is, and that's how they fund the project through Penvest. They look at trying to make the project meet whatever that affordable rate is.
Kind of lies I miss.
And they've determined that that is $95 a month. So whether there's a treatment plant in Southview or there's a pump station in Southview, the projected cost is $95 a month. We're going to do everything we can to try and get that lower, but that is the number that they've given us to shoot at. I don't really have much more to say than that.
Talk about the maintenance cost over the years versus upfront.
Okay, so you may say that the $19 million versus the 15.5, that difference in price, why are we spending that much more money? What we've looked at is that the overall cost will be the same, because the money that we're increasing in debt service is being offset more so by the O&M cost. The operation and maintenance long-term of that treatment plant is more than the debt service would be. So the cost is, overall cost, that's why the rate of $95 a month would be the same for either project.
And we're looking at that over 20 years, I think.
Yeah, it's a 20-year life cycle. Actually, I believe it's 30 years because that's the funding term that we're getting from Penvest.
How much grant money is used in those projections, the figures you have? How much do you have to have for it?
Which grants do? Grant is the act.
No, well, within the Act 537 plan, we talk about needing $6 million in grant money to make this project work. So far, Mount Pleasant Township has committed $2 million, almost $2 million, to the authority to cover the design fees up front. So we're closing the gap. You know, instead of needing 6, we're down to 4. So we're making progress.
So if you get $6 million, that's to hit the $95.
That's the $95 a month, yes.
Is that something that you think is accomplished?
I do. I think we can accomplish it, and I think that really it's all depends on the economic climate at the time. You've been on these few boards and involved in government for a long time. You know that from time to time the economy starts to falter a little bit, and money's put into public works projects and it's put into Penvest money, and a lot of times those funds are used to stimulate the economy. So we'll see where we are with Penvest money and what grant portions are available in a year and a half when we get this thing, you know, to the point where we can fund it. But right now, we do need that an additional $4 million to make it work.
So let me ask you this. Go back up, let me ask back to the grant money. So I guess what happens if you don't hit that $6 million? Because to me, $95 a month is crazy to begin with.
I believe that Penvest will not give us the loan without a grant component that makes the $95 work.
So there is the potential you could get pretty far with this project and not be able to.
There is a potential that we can get all the way through design and go to Penvest and not get the money and have to keep reapplying to Penvest to try and make this thing work. That is a possibility.
Did Cecil Township sign a resolution 13 years ago?
I believe that they would have, because the plan's been approved.
Less than 13 years ago, when we started with the Act 537, I came on.
Can you tell everybody your name?
I'm sorry.
Just tell everybody your name.
It came in 2006. 2006.
They want you to introduce yourself.
My name is Paul Batista from Mount Pleasant. So I came on the board somewhere around 2006. The Act 537 was already in motion, wasn't approved yet. So then when we came in, we were kind of dysfunctional. We got moving on it and started to get the Act 537 approved. One of the things we needed, and I came to the meeting a number of times to get a resolution at that time, we couldn't get the Act 537 approved if we didn't have a resolution from Cecil Township. And I think Tom, you were on the board, Andy was on the board at that time.
I wasn't there.
I'm sorry?
I wasn't there.
So maybe it wasn't, that's right, that was before your time, but I remember Tom being there. So we have a resolution from Cecil Township that you're a part of the Act 537.
What year was it?
I want to say like 8 or 9.
And is that binding on the current supervisors?
You have to ask your solicitor that, but I believe you probably are.
Yeah.
Well, you're taking the position you did.
Well, you know, once the plan's been approved, it's approved unless another plan is approved to supersede. So they don't, I don't think they have a shelf life.
At the time that that plan was approved, did you come to the board of supervisors and tell them that the residents were going to be charged a
We had no idea at that time.
So they just approved it without it?
The way it works is first we have to get an Act 537 plan. So that's a big 30,000 foot level plan of where do you think we can put sewage. Then once we get the Act 537 into place, then that's when we go back and we start looking at the design work and stuff. Once we start getting into the design work, that's when Penvest comes in and says, here's what the financing might be, and they set that rate.
Okay, but to go along with the monthly, what are we talking tap-in costs?
Can I make a statement before you go any further?
Yeah.
Can you people
please talk into the mic so we can hear?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
I mean, these guys here are wonderful. These, whatever you call, you turn your head this way when you're talking to the mic.
Okay, thank
Nobody can hear anything.
I'm sorry, please speak up if you don't hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
I have another
What,
question.
what would what if it's, so we're talking $95 a month, and what for a tapping fee?
I believe the number was $5,000 cabinet fee, is what we're projecting.
You're asking residents to pay $5,000 to tap in, and then
I'm not.
$100 a month? Not you personally,
The
but
DEP is, we're not mandated yet, and we're close to possibly getting mandated, and we would have to do it one way or the other.
put yourself in the shoes of our residents. Do you think that that's reasonable?
Excuse me, in October, whenever you came to our board meeting, if I'm not mistaken, it was 75.
Was it 7? I just asked Paul. I didn't remember.
That's even worse.
I remember, I'm
So
sorry.
then you're correct. Because I remember I told you what it was, but I didn't remember what it was.
It's 75.
And I just to go back to the previous discussion of the plan that was approved before. That plan had a $50 a month rate in it back then, and it was too much money then. And I think one of the things that I've come to realize in all my years of doing this is it's never cheaper than today. $95 a month, although it seems unreasonable, it's never going to be $95 a month 5 years from now. It's going to be more than that. And if it was done, 10 years ago, it would have been 50, and people were upset that it was going to be 50. So I think it's necessary because there are so many malfunctioning on lot systems there. The DEP is not going to let this continue. It's unfortunate that it costs what it costs. We will do everything we can to keep it as low as we can. But
Steve, another question.
Yes.
So that the $95 a month is based on the income in Mount Pleasant Township.
That's correct.
So was the income in Southview, Cecil Township, taken into consideration?
I don't know that specifically because the number that we get from Penvest was based on because it's the primary service area is Mount Pleasant. That's the numbers they use. So I don't.
That's a valid point, because when we first talked to Penvest, they were...
Can you hear Paul?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Turn around.
When we first started talking to Penvest, say 6 months ago, they were thinking that it was only a single township project. But then recently we explained to them there was 2 township projects, and they started looking at 2 townships, right. So they started looking at the funding a little differently. So that's a very valid question. Maybe we should go back to them and say, can we take this in comparison? And just to give you an idea, in 2000, the median income for Mount Pleasant Township was $32,000 per household. It's currently $62,000. It's the gas royalties. That's what's really made the difference. So, but on the other hand, we could not get this far along, $2 million, without our Act 13 funding for the gas royalties. The gas royalties is what's paying for the drawings.
Exactly how many tap-ins would be in Cecil Township? Do you have an idea of the number we're talking about? Are we talking 30, 50, 20?
I think I saw 20 in the report, Steve.